Man, the Baltimore Ravens hate to be the bear. Get it? The bear of bad news, but the Baltimore Ravens just signed a 30-year-old safety, like a 29-year-old safety, whose best years are way behind him, Earl Thomas, to a 4-year deal, which means that he'll be playing 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. He's going to be a 34-year-old safety who's probably going to retire next year or literally the year after. So he's not even going to fulfill the contract. They're paying him $13.25 million. Landon Collins, Honey Badger, you might say what you want about these guys, but they're getting paid the exact same amount of money as They're getting paid the same amount of money as Earl Thomas. And now I know Earl Thomas is a star player. I know he's a Hall of Fame player, but Earl Thomas is literally 30 years old. The Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson, I guess they're loading up with Lamar Jackson. But this is not going to be a good contract. And the Baltimore Ravens, Eric DeCosta, deciding to move on from Ozzie Newsome. Eric DeCosta is now spending money on these on Mark Ingram too. Mark Ingram is 30 years old as well. Alvin Kamara was the man in New Orleans. New Orleans is ready to win a championship. New Orleans could have paid out $10 million to keep Mark Ingram around. Mark Ingram's a stud. He's a great player, great locker room guy. He's the staple of the New Orleans Saints in terms of the heartbeat of that team. He's had a tremendous career out of Alabama. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. I like Mark Ingram a lot. Just like Earl Thomas, Mark Ingram adds a lot of value, but he added a lot of value, meaning that his best years are way behind him. And you're paying him $5 million. Now, the $5 million, that's not that expensive for a 3-year deal. Bottom line is these are two older players that are going to a declining franchise, and I don't believe in Lamar Jackson at all. Lamar Jackson is a runner. He cannot consistently make throws from the pocket. He hasn't showed us any evidence that he can do that, and I don't think it's going to start happening this year. You look at Crabtree, Willie Snead. Now they lose Zadarius Smith. They lose they lose C.J. Mosley. I know you have Tony Jefferson now and Earl Thomas. Eric Weddle, I think, was fine. But you lose Terrell Suggs, the leader of your defense. You're losing all these defensive pieces, and now you're totally overpaying massively for this. Earl Thomas is such a mistake, that this large contract, because Baltimore now, they should be in rebuilding mode, Baltimore, like taking on a lot of cheap contracts, giving themselves a lot of flexibility. But now these $13 million are going to have a dead cap hit in a lot of years when you're trying to build a team around your rookie quarterback. Like literally Lamar Jackson, I think the Baltimore Ravens could be one of the worst teams in the NFL next year. They're in the Tua Tagovailoa sweepstakes. I think this team is absolutely going to tank. It's going to be 5-11, 4-12, 6-10 if they're very, very lucky. John Harbaugh, who already doesn't get along with the owner, Steve Buscemi, said last year, I think his name is Steve. Let me check the Baltimore Ravens owner. It is Steve Buscemi. Said that John Harbaugh, literally, we were having conversations in our room that John Harbaugh, we thought we were going to fire him before last season. Like, that is actually true. That's actually out there. So, if John Harbaugh, I project he's not going to be as good this season. The defense definitely is not going to be up to par. The Cleveland Browns, they did add a lot of weapons. The Steelers got rid of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. They're going to be a more focused team going forward. So the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to end up firing their head coach at the end of this year. It's definitely John Harbaugh's last year. And the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a disgraceful franchise going forward. They're going to be absolutely horrible. They have Lamar Jackson, and now they pay for Earl Thomas, a dude who literally said he was going to retire, and he's going to be 30 years old for a safety. He's going to increase that threshold. It would have been good signings back in 2013. This would have been a good team 5 years ago. A great signing 5 years ago, a premier signing. But the premier safeties in their prime are getting signed for $13.75. The Dallas Cowboys, they didn't want to sign him for 4 years. It's crazy. I mean, this guy is contemplating retirement. He's 30 years old. I mean, everybody's going to compliment everybody on free agent signing. I mean, it's gift wrapping season. Everybody's going to congratulate, the players and the fan bases for getting players. But when push comes to shove and the games start happening in September and October, you're not going to be sitting around looking at this contract. And in a couple of years, you're not going to enjoy this contract, Ravens fans. So that's just how I see it. I think it's just awful, horrific moves by Baltimore. And I'm not just going to sit here and say that every signing is like an awesome signing. This is not a good signing at all. This is the big loser of free agency is Baltimore, the clear loser. They wait till the last day. Horrific move by Baltimore Ravens.